havoc on travel and any outdoor plans that you have. So let's get into it. We've got that chilly air in place for us. Plenty of it is going to be sticking around as we head into the weekend. So 20s, 30s, even colder than that in some spots as well. So you get cold air, you throw some moisture into it, and that means that you're going to get snow, potentially some ice, maybe a mix of that, even finally some of that snow along the megalopolis. Not with our first system. Our first system brings that snow in the interior. Our second system is going to bring snow right along the I-95 corridor as we head throughout our Sunday. So you can see it's going to be a mess. The Euro, well, we have what we're thinking is going to happen, kind of 3 to 5 inches, some of us seeing a little bit more, 5 to 8 in the heavier elevations and also coming off the lakes. The GFS wants to go gangbusters with this. Now, we haven't had a full-blown nor'easter in a while, and this wants to nor'easter the heck out of this system. So we'll see. Here's a look at the first system coming in for really tonight into the Midwest, the Ohio River Valley, and then into the Northeast for our Saturday. So rainy, cold one here along the coast, snow in the interior. That will help Buffalo's down like a foot with the snow. Then we get another piece of energy that is going to ride up the coast. That means snow into D.C., New York, on into Boston as well. There's our low pressure. Notice where it is off the coast, and notice that our isobars, our white lines here, they're packed, but it's not like we are going to see insane wind. You're definitely going to get very windy conditions out of this. So I think travel could be problematic. It kind of lingers into our Monday morning, but is really pulling out. This is the official Weather Channel forecast for you, and it looks very similar to the European forecast. As I mentioned, Buffalo is down by a tremendous amount. Albany could use some of that snow. New York, Philly, we're down 4 or 5 inches. Boston down by 9 inches. Look at Bangor and Caribou really falling behind on snow so far this season. But D.C., we're up 4 inches, and we're probably going to get more to that. Erie does not need any more. They are the big winners so far because of all that lake effect that they saw at the end of last year with 3 feet above. So traveling tomorrow, it's going to be problematic. I think it's going to be bad again, even as we head into our Sunday. And the thing is you might be in a city where there's no weather. You're looking outside, you're like, it's beautiful. But say you're waiting for a flight to come from Philly to San Diego, and you're like, what's the delay? Because they get stuck in the Northeast, and then obviously that's going to slow your return out of somewhere like San Diego where you have nice weather. Monday, we will be much better, and we'll be able to play catch-up. But the problem always is, Paul, where's the crew? Where's the planes? You could still see cancellations on Monday that have nothing to do with the weather.
It's like a shell game when the weather goes haywire.
I'm excited and terrified all at the same time for this snow along the I-10 corridor, because it is going to be so exciting, but we just don't have the things that we need for snow, like the salt and the plows. Yes, there's some, but it's just not a lot, and it's going to be in the middle of the week, so I just hope people stay home so we don't get into any big issues. Cold air all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Throw some moisture on top of that. Et voila, we all know what that means. That means you're going to get wintry weather, and it's not going to be the I-20 corridor like it was last time. It's going to be along the I-10 corridor and up the coastal areas. Maybe in the Outer Banks, you're going to get snow. I mean, it's like, what? So here's a look. This is a true story. This is not April Fool's. It is still January. Houston, New Orleans, Lake Charles, Mississippi, Alabama, Mobile, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, you're going to maybe just miss it. So maybe going up to, what is that, Amelia Island over there. And the GFS has this stuff really heavy coming down portions of Texas, Louisiana, and then really hitting us here into the Carolinas. So here's a percentage chance of an inch of snow. So we have about a 50% chance into Georgia, 60%, even higher than that, into parts of Texas and Louisiana, according to the Euro. The GFS has that 50% into the south, 20%, even 10% in Atlanta, a little bit higher, a little bit farther north, with a 50% chance in the Outer Banks, which is just wild. So here's both the models and the timing. Monday, you have the rain and the snow coming in. It's starting. Really, Tuesday morning, it gets cranking for us and then just rides east, which is wild. Atlanta, you might see some novelty flakes, according to the Euro. Hopefully, schools aren't shut, maybe because of the cold air. Some of these southern cities have a little bit of a delay. But then look at this. Wednesday, Tuesday overnight, early Wednesday morning, snow here along the coastal areas is just incredible. The GFS obviously has this system a lot more intense and a lot more widespread for us, and it is going to be spreading, a little farther north, if you believe the GFS, and there's going to be a lot more snow associated with it as well. This will be wrapping up again also on Wednesday, and we're still going to be cold as we wrap up the week. So right now, you should know that next week, if you live in any of these highlighted areas, there is the potential for snow. Paul, it's been a while since we've seen any in New Orleans. A tenth of an inch. The last time we saw that, 2009. We haven't had any snow since then. That's been measurable.
Yeah, there's going to be a blockbuster across the roads.
That we will. Well, it's time for a little fun segment we like to call Phonetic Fahrenheit, where we are comparing two cities, or in this case, a city and a county, and they're spelled exactly the same way, but pronounced entirely different. So we're talking about D-E-K-A-L-B. We're going to start with DeKalb, Illinois, located about an hour west of Chicago, home to the DeKalb Municipal Band, a tradition that goes back to 1854, and the city claims to be the oldest continuous band in Illinois, which is really cool, right? Not so cool that we're going to go from 46 above average, drop to the single digits on Sunday. This is without wind chill, and stay essentially that cold at least through Tuesday. But hey, at least we have the sunshine. That does make a huge difference. Now we're going to move down south to DeKalb County, Georgia, which is part of the metro Atlanta area. The county celebrated its bicentennial in 2022. Go explore some of the trails of Arabia Mountain Nature Preserve while it is still warm, because things are even getting colder this far south. This is also home to our floor director, Brandon, who is proud to be from DeKalb County, Georgia. 60 for our day today with lots of sunshine, a rainy Saturday. Paul, look at that. Those are our highs. So prepare your family and your house.
Well, I'll take that as a challenge.
You got cold air in place. All right, check. You need that to get snow. And then you need some moisture. Well, we've got that moisture that's getting pulled northward. Check. And then you need some energy in the atmosphere, and we have definitely got that, not only here at the surface, but if you look in the upper levels, there's a big trough with a bunch of different pieces of energy coming through. So this is tonight through Saturday. System number one bringing more rain to the megalopolis, snow to the interior. Then another piece of energy swings in, rides up the East Coast, and that's going to be a Sunday to Monday event, which will finally bring some decent snow to the I-95 corridor. Look, from Boston to New York to Philly down to D.C., we're in that 3 to 5 inch range with heavier snow into the mountains and also coming off of the lakes. No surprise there. Now, the GFS wants to put this into a full-blown nor'easter and give us very heavy snow, 8, 12 inches of it when all is said and done. I think we're leaning more to that 3 to 5. There's always an overachiever, but it doesn't look like this is going to be a full-blown nor'easter at the moment, but we'll continue to watch it closely. Here's our first system coming in. So Saturday morning, Detroit's a mess. Indianapolis, Louisville, Charleston, points in between. That makes its way east on Saturday, but notice it is rain here. And then that snow is essentially interior, Adirondacks, Catskills, that type of a thing. Then we see our next low pressure develop right up the coast. Here's your center of your low. That comes up. There you go. I got to look and see exactly where it is relative to the benchmark here. But obviously, we are passing it in an area that gives us snow on the backside into the northeast and some gustier winds with this, too. So keep that in mind. It could be a little bit breezy, but we could also see flight delays, travel issues, really all weekend here, because we're going to be pushed back kind of on Saturday. Then Sunday, we're really going to be pushed back. Monday, even though the system's gone, there's always that game you have to play of catching up. Where are the crews? Where are the planes? Are they in the right places? What do we do? This is the official Weather Channel forecast. We're riding on that 3 to 5 train here along the I-95 corridor, and we need it. We are down. Look at New York and Philly, 4 or 5 inches for us. Boston, down 9 inches. Huge deficits into Maine with Caribou and Bangor down 11 and 16 inches respectively. We don't need any more snow into Erie. That's where we are 3 feet above average. And D.C. is actually doing pretty good with that big snowstorm we saw. We're up 4.4 inches. So Saturday, it's going to be impactful if you're traveling. Sunday, yet again. And now on Monday, Paul, this is a little deceiving because there's no weather that will impact the airports per se, but is your captain there? Is your flight attendant there? Is your plane there? That's what could slow us down on Monday.
Yeah, saving grace is Monday is Martin Luther King
So
Jr.
the cold is locked in. Big high pressure bringing that cold air. Look at that northerly component to it. So we are going to see that chill all the way to the Gulf Coast. So you've got the cold air in place. We need moisture. Check. That is going to be abundant for us as well. And then we have energy that's also going to be cutting across this area. So that means you could see snow. Now, last time it was basically kind of that I-20 corridor. Now it's going to be a little bit farther south, if you can believe it, along the I-10 corridor, which is just utterly wild. The Euro has that heavier snow anywhere from Houston towards Lake Charles, towards Mobile, and just to the north of Jacksonville, and kind of cutting off here into central South Carolina. The GFS really wants to go nuts into the Carolinas here, and also a lot heavier into Texas and Louisiana. 60% chance in Texas, Louisiana of seeing at least an inch of snow. We have a 50% chance, Georgia, maybe up to Charleston, of seeing an inch of snow. Notice as you get along that I-20 corridor, your chances of seeing an inch of snow go down. Atlanta over towards Charlotte, you're in that really kind of 10 to 20%. While the GFS, again, has this thing, it's just a lot more wider and more intense. So more people getting a chance of seeing an inch of snow. So let's get into the models here. They're both really get this thing coming together as we head into our Tuesday, essentially, Monday night, and then Tuesday morning, 9 a.m., Waco, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, you're on the fringes there. You might see some novelty snowflakes. And then moving into New Orleans as we head into the afternoon, Montgomery, that I-10 corridor, Savannah up into the Outer Banks as we head into our Tuesday evening, early Wednesday morning. And then this is going to pull offshore, maybe some mixed stuff into the First Coast there as it pulls away. How about the GFS? The GFS, again, it starts it a little bit earlier, and by Tuesday at 9 a.m., it is much farther east, and it is much more intense, very widespread, coming through. This is Tuesday evening. By Wednesday, we are going to see that potential for the snow along the East Coast, really getting into the Outer Banks here. This is the Weather Channel's official forecast with some of that heavier snow from Georgia, the Carolinas. I'm like excited and terrified, Paul, all at the same time for this.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we had measured.